Okay, so we are here to present GE Healthcare, and we are total 6 people working in our team with GE Healthcare. So we have Amikansh, Jane, Joe, Edith, and Miriam is not here, and Navneet is sitting there. Yeah, so probably I think everyone has heard about GE Healthcare. So I would like you to, I would like to tell more about how it started and all. So I think everybody knows Thomas Edison. Yeah. So Thomas Edison started the company GE, General Electric, in 1878. And today, GE Healthcare is the only company in the world which was originally listed in the Dow Jones Index. Like we know about stock market companies are listed there. So the only company which was still listed from, it was listed in 1896. So it is still listed since 1896 till today. Overall, GE has more than 300,000 employees and it operates in 160 countries throughout the world. So GE, we have to focus more on GE Healthcare. So the healthcare segment in GE employs around 45,000 employees. GE in total has a business unit of $18 billion, and it spends one of the reasons why GE is so big today is we believe that the expenditure they make in research and development, which is around $1 billion every year. So I think this is where most of the companies lack. Other than that, yeah, GE has five main divisions: the healthcare, aviation, home and business, transportation, energy, and healthcare is one of the section which makes significant revenue for GE. It has headquarters in Chicago, US, and I think we all are also aware of the GE Healthcare facility in Uppsala. So there's one more thing about it. The GE Healthcare facility in Uppsala, it employs about 1,200 people, specially dedicated for technology development. So that makes the GE Healthcare Uppsala facility the world's biggest R&D facility, the only facility which employs 200 people, especially for technology development in the world. Yeah. In Uppsala, GE mainly focuses on bioprocess, and in that, especially on the downstream processing, the protein purification. So they're using different methods for protein purification. We'll go through that later during the presentation. So we have basically divided the presentation into two parts just to make it easy for you to understand and give you a good overview of the company. So I will talk you through the innovation which GE is doing, which includes the 3D printing center, Flex Factory, and a specialized bioreactor, single-use bioreactor. And Jane will take you through the scientific part, more through the scientific part, which includes manufacturing of Cephirose beads used for purification of proteins. She'll also introduce you to the ACTA protein purification system. You'll really like it. It is one of the best in the world. And the benchmark product from GE, the MAP SelectSure. MAP SelectSure, I would also like to add here that MAP SelectSure is a product which generates most revenue for the company. So, Jane?
So, I'm going to start with Cephirose beads. As we all know, we have all used agarose gel in the lab, and we all know that agarose gel is used in the separation of different sizes of proteins. And GE Healthcare in Uppsala manufactures Cephirose beads, which is a trademark name for cross-linked agarose. And these beads are used for affinity chromatography. So, laboratory grade agarose is produced from a red seaweed, and it's produced from a few species of red seaweed. Unfortunately, many people in the world rely on this seaweed as a source of food. Price of agar has increased dramatically over the last decade, and this is because over-harvesting of agarose is a problem. Agar is very important for biotechnology, and sorry. There are no there are no other ways of harvesting. There is no particular way of farming this seaweed, but the scientists are like working to like find better methods of harvesting this seaweed. Now I'm going to talk about the protein purification. GE Healthcare in Uppsala produces equipment for protein purification, whereby various sizes of protein can be purified using different columns. So we have ACTA protein purification system, which was produced produced since the early 1900s, and it is a very reliable protein purification system. And this platform covers all major chromatographic and cross-flow filtration techniques for research and production and manufacturing. And this ACTA protein purification system consists of various systems with various needs and functions. And there are different types of chromatographic techniques, and proteins are purified based on certain characteristics. And we have different types of ACTA systems, which are ACTA Avant, ACTA Start, ACTA Express, etc. So I'm going to talk about the component of ACTA protein purification system. And this is a typical diagram of an ACTA protein purification system. And it has several components. We can see that it has two pumps. Yeah, the system pumps and the sample pump. The system pumps provides and gives accurate flow rate, while the sample pump is a dedicated pump for automatic sample preparation. And the mixer, yeah, it enables homogeneous buffer composition during the operation. And we also have a sample inject valve, which also enables automatic sample preparation, and it is attached to the column switching valve. And this column switching valve chooses different columns because we have different columns for different operation, and this valve here is responsible for switching between columns. And it also has like a reverse flow functionality, which increases like the rate of the operation. And it has a UV, ultraviolet, and conductivity detector, which measures the absorbance, and also a pH monitor, which also measures the pH of buffers and samples. And lastly, the fraction collector, which has a cooling functionality, which prevents the sample from overheating, and also prevents purified samples from getting other impurities. So now I'm going to talk about the MAP Selector. It is like a it's a chromatography media used for purification of monoclonal antibodies. It is developed in the early 2000s, and it, unlike other vivers, it is highly stable in alkaline conditions. And it also gives a very high protease resistance, thereby significantly reducing ligand leakage. And it also has like high dynamic binding capacity, which thereby reduces the amount of media used during the purification, and can also process very large volumes of feeds. So Lab Selector is really easy to maintain, and it can be cleaned with sodium hydroxide, which makes it very easy it's affordable, because because sodium hydroxide is very cheap than other chemical components used in cleaning the media, and it is the least produced in terms of quality, and therefore it provides a very great revenue other than other products produced by GE Healthcare in Uppsala. And it is also compatible with different equipment, different equipment produced by other rivals, like other equipment manufacturers. And therefore, it is amongst most competent chromatographic media. So, Ekan should talk about the innovative part.
Yeah. So I hope by now you all know like about the scientific things GE is doing. So basically the products they are producing and how they help. So now one more thing is like the most important thing for a company to make revenue is innovation. Like because every product gets outdated within a few months or few years in a short span of time. So GE focuses a lot on innovation, and the Uppsala Center of GE, it is one of the most innovative centers in whole of Europe. So here what they are basically doing is now they are focusing more on 3D printing, and our friends from Oz Design have like very beautifully demonstrated how a 3D printer works. So I won't get too detailed about it. Yeah. So basically 3D printing is just, it certainly produces a rapid prototype very quickly with help of computer aided design. And because the design is computer aided, like it is high precision, it has high precision geometry. So basically how like the Wisconsin Center, they produced a prototype of a heart. So they had a tomography scan of a patient's heart, and then it went through a 3D printer, and we saw in the video like how 3D printer works. So we got a like similar heart, just an exact prototype of it. It can be used for various purposes. For example, in surgery, like organ transplantation and all, like the research has been going on for it. And it can also be used because like if we can understand when a patient goes through an organ transplant and such an important organ as heart, so like the patients are maybe scared or something, so but if they can see the exact prototype, so the doctors can like successfully use it to make the patients aware like how the procedure is done and other kind of things. Yeah. So another good thing GE is doing is the Flex Factory. Like as the name suggests, Flex Factory is like a kind of new idea. I mean, it's a kind of revolutionary idea, I would say. So it is in the Flex Factory, basically, like the companies set up such big units, such big production units for the production. So Flex Factory is just a small production unit for all of it in a very small place. In the Flex Factory, it is a biomanufacturing facility. So in Flex Factory, mostly we use only the single-use systems. So when we use single-use systems, so it's like more efficient and more fast, and it also reduces the need of like the cleaning of bioreactors and other things. So I would say it is much more sustainable and very quick. And Flex Factory can be used for like small-scale production. I mean, using bioreactors just from 5 to 10 liters, and also to industrial scale production. That depends on the like we can scale it up very fast. Yeah, and Flex Factory is like centrally automated, which means that like we have the different, for example, in the whole process, including upstream and downstream processing, we will have, usually we have different softwares which are controlling different machines. But because it is centrally automated, we just have one software. So it is like, I mean, the software used in Flex Factory, it like easily adapts to all the instruments. So it is also easy to use. Yeah. So these are the 5 basic features of the Flex Factory. It improves process economy. Yes, it does, because in Flex Factory, I mean, when the company patents a product, So it takes a lot of time to get it to the market. But because Flex Factory also has the facility to produce, to do things on a smaller scale, so basically how GE is using it, it is to to get their product quickly into the market before other competitors. So maybe we all know by now that the early movers, they get a huge benefit as compared to other rivals. The agile automation platform is the same thing, the software which I was talking about. Then the fast track services. So these fast track services are I would say, I want to add one more thing. The GE Healthcare plant in Uppsala, it is producing 99% of the all drugs produced in the world. They are in some way using something from the GE Healthcare plant in Uppsala. So now we can understand how big responsibility it is. So the fast track services are in case when there's some urgency or some drugs are needed, in case of, I won't say in an emergency situation or something, they are needed in huge amounts and they are needed very soon. So the fast track services from GE can help, which are done in the Flex Factory. So GE has different MOUs with partners selling them, and as soon as they order them, so it can be provided relatively faster than the traditional way. And that also gives them a security of supply, because when you produce something on a very large scale, it takes a whole lot of time. But Flex Factory can reduce the time, significantly reduce the time. And the equipment. So basically we have this big equipments, the bioreactors, the mixers, maybe the size of this building and all. So to scale them down, we have the GE is using new bioreactors, the X2O mixers, the ACTA systems, and all those are disposable. They just use it once and then throw it off. So, I mean, it reduces the process time significantly. These are some companies which are employing GE Healthcare's Flex Factory services. So all of these are they haven't started using the services. For example, Dr. Reddy's, they have signed the MOU. So probably they when we did the last time when we searched the internet, we did not find that they have started using it. They'll start using it sometime in late 2018. Yeah. So now when you are a big company like GE, I mean, they're working almost in 160 countries over the world. So there comes the responsibility of sustainability. And luckily GE realizes that responsibility. So as of now, all the products they are producing, everything they try to produce it in a sustainable way. So for that, they follow three main principles. The life cycle design thinking. So it is the complete life cycle of the product from the beginning, from the production, from the start of the production towards the end, when the product is completely used. They try to design it in such a way that it is most sustainable to the environment and harms as less as possible. And that is one of the reasons that Flex Factory was developed, because we don't need to sterilize the reactors and everything again and again. We just use them once and throw it away. And because it is just single use and they're disposable, the installation cost, it's very less as compared to the traditional factories. I mean, with this you can contradict that the traditional ones can be used over a longer period of time, and using disposables one again and again can employ a huge cost. But still, then it is balanced with, because however we can, I mean, install a traditional system, but then it will be somehow outdated in few years. So it's better to use a disposable one. Yeah, which you don't need to install again and again. Then the life cycle assessment, it is also the same thing. The assessment is done by experts in order to assess that it harms as less as possible to the environment. And all the designs they produce, they're trying to do it in an eco-friendly way. So the XDR10 single-use stirred tank bioreactor is an example of how GE tries to do things in a sustainable way. It is a single-use bioreactor system It is employed in the development of biopharmaceuticals. It was patented in 2013 in the US, and the patent says that it allows the biomanufacturing of mammalian cells. And XDR10 was first used on the Flex factory. That's all. I mean, now I would like Jane to conclude.
So, in conclusion, GE Healthcare is a predominant contributor in the biotechnology sector. GE Healthcare has basically 5 sectors, but in Uppsala here, they have just 2 sectors, which we just talked about, the bioprocess and the purification and analysis. Thank you.